The sacred silence of Fajr is the exact moment when the gates of heaven swing open to distribute your daily provision. If you have been struggling to close the financial gap in your life, you are likely missing the unbelievable Barakah secret hidden in the first hour of the day. You are not watching this by chance. Your soul has guided you here to reclaim a wealth that transcends mere numbers. The cold water of wudu on your skin wasn't just a physical awakening. It was a preparation for the spiritual infusion of abundance that is currently passing you by, while you rush away from your prayer mat and let the perfume of the mushaf fade into the background noise of your bills and anxieties. And then, beloved, the weight returns. It is a subtle shift, but devastatingly familiar. The moment the formal supplication is concluded, the mind, which was briefly tethered to the divine throne, snaps back to earth, landing heavily on the ledger sheet of your life. I see it in your eyes, though we may never have met face to face. I see the exhaustion that is not merely physical fatigue from waking early, but the deep, spiritual weariness that comes from perpetual calculation. You look at the dawn, and instead of seeing a new opportunity, you see another day that must be paid for. You sit there, perhaps sipping your first cup of water or tea, and the anxiety begins its slow, relentless creep. It is the anxiety of the pending due dates, the relentless stack of envelopes on the kitchen counter that you dread opening. You calculate and recalculate, and still the numbers do not align. You have tried every formula the world offers. You worked longer hours. You sacrificed sleep. You took on the extra shifts. You tightened the budget until it squeaked, denying yourself even small comforts. And yet, the gap remains. The financial chasm in your life is not closing. It seems to be widening, swallowing your peace, your sakana, whole. I know this feeling, my dear student, because I have witnessed it in so many righteous souls, dedicated servants of the divine who adhere strictly to the pillars of their faith, who wake for this very prayer, who give tzedakah even when their own pockets feel threadbare, yet they remain trapped in this cycle of scarcity. You look around and see others, perhaps those who seem less dedicated, who appear to glide effortlessly through life, their material needs met with ease, and a painful question forms in the quiet recess of your heart. Why me? Why is my effort not yielding fruit? Why is the blessing withheld? This is not a question of laziness. Never believe that lie. Your hands are calloused from labor. Your mind is sharp from constant planning and strategizing. You have demonstrated resilience that would crush a lesser person. The problem, my beloved, is not the quantity of your income. The problem is the quality of the blessing within it. It is a crisis of Barakah. Barakah, this divine infusion of sufficiency, this sacred increase, is not merely about having more dollars in the bank. It is about those dollars stretching further than logic dictates. It is about a small sum performing the work of a large one. It is about the money you earn bringing peace, not further complication. When Barakah is absent, even great wealth feels like a burden, a leaky bucket that can never be filled. When Barakah is present, even a meager provision feels like a feast, providing shelter, health, and dignity. You feel the constant pressure, the heavy cloak of responsibility for your family, the silent fear that you might fail them. You worry about the education of your children, the health costs of your parents, the looming shadow of debt that threatens to steal your sleep, night after night. You go to bed exhausted, but the mind refuses to shut down, running through worst-case scenarios, playing and replaying the tape of financial worry. This stress, this chronic anxiety that settles in the pit of your stomach, is a sign that the connection between your risk, provision, and its divine source is frayed. You have been relying too much on the means, your hard work, your ingenuity, the job market, and not enough on the master of the means. Let us acknowledge this pain fully, for validation is the first step toward healing. Your struggle is real. The exhaustion is real. The fear is real. But understand this: your worth is not measured by your bank statement. Your closeness to the divine is not determined by the size of your house or the car you drive. The test of risk is one of the most difficult and pervasive trials the believer faces, precisely because it threatens the stability of the entire household and often whispers doubts into the heart about the fairness of destiny. We are told in the most profound teachings that the provision of every creature is guaranteed, written before creation began. Yet we see disparity. We see struggle. Why? Because the manner in which that provision comes, the vessel through which the blessing flows, is subject to conditions not of spreadsheets and market analysis, but conditions of the heart and the immediate actions taken in the sacred hours of the dawn. You have completed the obligatory prayer, the cornerstone of your day. But the period immediately following Fajr is perhaps the most spiritually potent, the most financially consequential, and yet the most neglected time block in the believer's 24 hours. It is the moment when the gates of provision are flung wide open and the distribution of the day's blessings begins. If you rise from your prayer mat and immediately plunge into the anxieties of the material world, checking emails, scrolling through news, or lamenting your situation, you are effectively turning your back on the divine distributor at the very moment he is calling your name for your share. The secret to unlocking unstoppable Barakah, the secret to watching your provision not merely increase but multiply in its effectiveness and peace-bringing capacity, lies in harnessing the spiritual energy of this precious, brief window between the obligatory Fajr prayer and the rising of the sun. It is a program of 9 specific, divinely sanctioned actions, a spiritual investment plan that guarantees returns far exceeding anything the stock market could promise. These are not complex rituals. They are subtle shifts in focus, powerful affirmations of trust, and immediate acts of dedication that reposition your soul directly under the stream of divine generosity. We must move our focus from the worry of the dollar to the purity of the deed, for the deed is the magnet for the blessing. We must understand, with absolute clarity, the profound theological underpinning of why this time is so potent. The night has retreated, representing the period of rest and concealment. The day is dawning, symbolizing manifestation, emergence, and the commencement of divine activity in the material realm. The prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, made a profound supplication for his community specifically during this time. He prayed, "O Allah, bless my ummah in their early mornings." This is not a casual wish. It is a powerful, prophetic invocation, a divine warranty stamped upon the early hours. If we ignore the call to action during the very time the prophet asked for blessing to be poured out, we are actively rejecting the guaranteed returns of that prayer. The 9 steps we are about to discuss are the spiritual vessels that allow you to catch that blessed downpour. They are the keys to accessing the hidden storehouses of risk that you have been struggling to find through purely human effort. They shift your entire paradigm from one of scarcity and fear to one of absolute trust and abundance. When you perform these actions consistently, you are essentially telling the Creator, "I trust your promise more than I fear my empty bank account." This radical declaration of reliance is the single most powerful magnet for Barakah known to humankind. Let us now delve into the first and most foundational of these 9 immediate actions, understanding that true wealth is not what you possess, but what you keep, what you utilize for good, and what brings peace to your heart. It is time to stop calculating the deficit and start cultivating the abundance. The first, the immediate, the most foundational action that must follow the completion of the Salam of Fajr prayer is this: do not move. Do not abandon your prayer mat. Do not let the spiritual inertia you have just built dissipate into the fleeting distractions of the material world. Sit, brothers and sisters. Sit where you prayed, facing the Qibla, and allow the divine light that has just illuminated your heart to stabilize and settle. This act, simple and seemingly passive, is in reality an immense spiritual exertion and a powerful declaration of trust. It is the moment when you transition from the obligatory communication with the Creator to the voluntary, sustained contemplation of His majesty and His promise. We are taught through the luminous teachings of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, that remaining seated in the place of prayer, engaged in the remembrance of Allah, dhikr, until the sun has fully risen and the time for the duha prayer has entered, carries a reward equivalent to performing a complete Hajj and a complete Umrah. Think deeply upon the magnitude of this promise. An endeavor that requires immense physical effort, vast financial outlay, and significant time commitment is matched, in spiritual weight, by simply sitting still, speaking the names of the divine, and reflecting upon the reality of your existence, all within the span of perhaps an hour or slightly more. This is the essence of Barakah, receiving maximum return for minimum human effort, because the effort is perfectly aligned with divine favor. When you rush away from your musalla the instant the prayer concludes, you behave like a person who has just filled a vessel with the purest, most life-giving water, only to immediately upturn it by sprinting into the noise of the day. You lose the spiritual charge. You miss the precise moment when the angels, having witnessed your devotion, remain present to record your continued dedication. The angels of the night have just delivered their report, and the angels of the day are just beginning their shift. By sitting, you ensure that both celestial delegations find you in the most beautiful state, dedicated to the remembrance of your Lord, prioritizing the eternal over the temporary. This sustained moment of post-Fajr dhikr is the spiritual anchor that prevents the ship of your consciousness from being immediately swept away by the currents of worldly anxieties, the rent, the bills, the deadlines, the worries about provision. It is a necessary period of decompression and spiritual saturation. The second immediate action, performed while you remain seated, is the focused, intentional recitation of specific supplications, adhkar, that are known to be magnets for divine provision and forgiveness. These are not random phrases, they are precise formulas, revealed by the Prophet, PBUH, himself, designed to unlock the celestial treasury. One of the most powerful, often overlooked in the rush for material gain, is the constant and sincere seeking of forgiveness, Istighfar. We often mistakenly believe that the lack of provision, risk, is purely an economic problem, a function of poor planning or bad luck. But the profound spiritual truth is that risk is curtailed primarily by sin, by the weight of forgotten transgressions, by the careless words spoken, by the injustices committed, even small ones. Sins act like spiritual dams, blocking the free flow of blessing into our lives, regardless of how hard we work. The divine instruction regarding this link is explicit and profoundly moving, detailed in the tafsir of Surah Nuh. Consider the magnificent and detailed counsel given by Prophet Noah, peace be upon him, to his people. When they struggled against the drought, against lack of fertility, against a general sense of stagnation and want, Nuh did not tell them to change their farming techniques or reorganize their government. He offered them the ultimate spiritual solution, which translates directly into material abundance. Allah recounts Nuh's words. I said, "Seek forgiveness from your Lord. Indeed, He is ever forgiving. He will send rain upon you in abundance, and give you increase in wealth and children, and provide for you gardens, and provide for you rivers." Ponder this divine guarantee, this incredible list of material benefits promised immediately upon the condition of sincere istighfar. Not only rain, the source of life and agriculture, but abundance in wealth, increase in children, a sign of Barakah in the lineage, flourishing gardens and flowing rivers. This is the blueprint for prosperity. The moment after Fajr, when the soul is soft and receptive, is the optimal time to wash away the spiritual dust of the previous 24 hours through prolonged and heartfelt istighfar. Repeat, Astaghfirullah, Astaghfirullah, Astaghfirullah. I seek the forgiveness of Allah, not merely as a ritual, but with the full awareness that you are removing the very barriers that stand between you and the guaranteed provision. This action is the spiritual equivalent of clearing the blockage in the pipe that is meant to deliver the water of life. Take a deep breath and let the weight of the ledger sheet drift away for just a moment. If you feel your heart softening to this message, consider subscribing to Emin Within, so we can continue this journey toward inner peace and abundance together. The third immediate action, still flowing from the sanctity of the prayer mat, is the dedicated deep recitation of specific verses of the Quran, known to invoke divine protection and sufficiency. We must utilize the Ayat al-Kursi, the verse of the throne, and the final verses of Surah al-Baqarah. The recitation of Ayat al-Kursi after the obligatory prayer is a spiritual shield, guaranteeing that nothing stands between the reciter and paradise except death, and providing protection from all affliction until the next prayer. But its power extends beyond the hereafter. It is the ultimate affirmation of Allah's absolute sovereignty and control over all creation, including the economy, the stock market, and your specific financial situation. When you recite, His kursi extends over the heavens and the earth, and the preservation of both does not weary Him, you are affirming that the burden of your provision is infinitely lighter than the preservation of the cosmos for the Creator. This affirmation dismantles the anxiety that paralyzes your efforts. Furthermore, the recitation of the final two verses of Surah al-Baqarah, famously known as the verses that were given directly to the Prophet, PBUH, from the celestial treasury during the Mi'raj, ascension, holds specific protective power. The Prophet, PBUH, stated that reciting these two verses at night is sufficient for the person. The scholars of tafsir explain that sufficient means sufficient against all evils, sufficient against the whispers of the shaitan, and sufficient for the needs of the day. By reciting them immediately after Fajr, you are casting a comprehensive spiritual net over your entire day, ensuring that whatever provision is destined for you will reach you unhindered by spiritual or material obstacles. You are establishing a spiritual perimeter. These three immediate actions, sitting in dhikr, seeking istighfar, and reciting the verses of protection, form the essential spiritual foundation of your financial day. They are the spiritual scaffolding that supports the massive edifice of your worldly efforts. If you build your day upon the shaky ground of anxiety and immediate worldly immersion, your efforts will be fragile. But if you begin by dedicating the first precious moments of the dawn to affirming Allah's sovereignty, seeking His forgiveness, and sitting in His remembrance, you are guaranteeing that every subsequent step you take, every meeting you attend, every transaction you complete, will be saturated with Barakah. You are not just asking for money, you are fixing the channel through which the money, and the peace that comes with it, must flow. This is the profound wisdom of starting the day, not with the calculation of debt, but with the cultivation of devotion. These three immediate actions, sitting in dhikr, seeking istighfar, and reciting the verses of protection, form the essential spiritual foundation of your financial day. They are the spiritual scaffolding that supports the massive edifice of your worldly efforts. If you build your day upon the shaky ground of anxiety and immediate worldly immersion, your efforts will be fragile. But if you begin by dedicating the first precious moments of the dawn to affirming Allah's sovereignty, seeking His forgiveness, and sitting in His remembrance, you are guaranteeing that every subsequent step you take, every meeting you attend, every transaction you complete will be saturated with Barakah. You are not just asking for money, you are fixing the channel through which the money, and the peace that comes with it, must flow. This is the profound wisdom of starting the day not with the calculation of debt, but with the cultivation of devotion. The fourth indispensable action, which must follow the spiritual cleansing of Istighfar, is the immediate commitment to charity, Sadaqah. This may seem paradoxical to someone seeking to increase their income. Why give away what you desperately need? This is precisely the point where faith intersects with finance, where the laws of the spiritual marketplace supersede the laws of the material market. We must internalize the divine promise articulated clearly in the Quran. And whatever thing you spend in charity, He will compensate it, and He is the best of providers. Surah Saba 34-39. The tafsir of this verse is unambiguous. Allah guarantees replacement. The money you dispense in the morning with a sincere intention for Allah's pleasure is not lost wealth. It is an investment in a divine savings account, the returns of which are multiplied exponentially, not just in the hereafter, but in this very life. Consider the profound wisdom embedded in the tradition that 2 angels descend every morning, and one prays, "O Allah, give replacement to the one who spends in charity," while the other prays, "O Allah, bring destruction upon the one who withholds from charity." By immediately engaging in sadaqah after Fajr, even if it is a small, consistent amount, a single coin, a few dollars, or even a charitable intention to help someone that day, you are aligning yourself with the prayer of the angel who invokes replacement and abundance. You are actively rejecting the whisper of the shaitan, who constantly threatens you with poverty, ensuring that your first material transaction of the day is a declaration of trust in Allah's boundless provision. This act seals your spiritual preparation with a tangible deed of faith, turning the key to the gates of Barakah. Fifthly, we must transition from general remembrance to specific focused supplication, dua, for provision, rizq. The time after Fajr is a time when the heavens are open, and the supplication of the servant is most likely to be accepted. Having cleansed ourselves through Istighfar and secured ourselves through dhikr, we now make our specific request. This dua must be articulated with precision and conviction, calling upon Allah by His most beautiful names that relate directly to provision. We must invoke Ar-Razak, the provider, the one who sustains all life, and Al-Wahhab, the bestower, the one who grants gifts without expectation of return. When you say, "Ya Razak, grant me provision," you are not just reciting words. You are acknowledging that the entire global financial matrix is merely a tool in the hand of the ultimate provider. Detail your needs to Him, not with the desperation of one who believes their sustenance is dependent on the whims of the market, but with the confidence of one who knows they are speaking to the King of Kings, whose treasury is never diminished by giving. Make your dua comprehensive, asking not just for wealth itself, but for barakah in that wealth, for the strength to earn it honestly, and for the wisdom to spend it correctly. This focused invocation ensures that your efforts throughout the day are spiritually directed, transforming mere labor into highly rewarded worship. The sixth essential action, often overlooked in the pursuit of material success, is the nurturing and strengthening of the ties of kinship, Silat ar-Rahim. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, gave a clear, unambiguous formula linking family ties directly to material and temporal success. Whoever desires that his provision be expanded for him and his lifespan be extended, let him maintain the ties of kinship. This is a divine guarantee, a covenant of Barakah. How does this apply immediately after Fajr? It means that before you immerse yourself in the demands of work, you must dedicate a moment to connect with those to whom you owe the most: your parents, your spouse, your children, or distant relatives in need. This might involve a brief, sincere conversation with your spouse, a loving glance at your sleeping children, or a moment of reflection and dua for your parents. If your parents are elderly, a quick, heartfelt phone call or text message expressing love and checking on their needs fulfills this obligation and immediately unlocks the floodgates of barakah in your sustenance. Neglecting family, even in the name of earning a living, is like trying to fill a bucket that has a massive hole. The barakah will leak out, and your efforts will be constantly undermined by spiritual emptiness and material constriction. By honoring Silat ar-Rahim early, you are investing in the most foundational social security system established by God. Seventh, we must transition from the purely spiritual preparation to the physical utilization of the blessed early hours, Gudu. The Prophet, PBUH, specifically supplicated for his community, saying, "O Allah, bless my ummah in their early mornings." The barakah of the early morning is immense, not just because the mind is clear and focused, but because it is the time divinely designated for productive effort. Having completed your salah, your dhikr, and your sadaqah, you must now move. Do not return to sleep. Do not allow the inertia of the morning to paralyze you. This is the moment to start the essential, focused work of your day. Whether you are a laborer, a student, an entrepreneur, or an executive, the most important task that moves you toward your goal must be tackled during this blessed window. The tafsir of the Gudu, early departure, suggests that the effort expended before the sun is high carries a weight of divine assistance that hours spent later in the day often lack. The blessing is attached to the proactive movement, the sincere physical exertion rooted in the spiritual foundation you have just laid. This is the practical application of the spiritual energy cultivated on the prayer rug. 8th, before any major transaction or engagement, you must renew your intention, niyyah, and commit to absolute integrity, taqwa, in all dealings. This is the long-term secret to sustaining barakah. You must mentally frame your work, your business, your profession, not merely as a means to acquire money, but as an act of worship, ibadah, performed for the sake of Allah. Your intention must be to provide for your dependents, to be independent of begging, and to contribute positively to society. Furthermore, you must make a firm commitment that today, you will not compromise your integrity for short-term gain. You will not lie about the quality of a product. You will not deceive a client. You will not shortchange a worker. The Prophet, PBUH, warned us that the honest and trustworthy merchant will be with the prophets, the truthful, and the martyrs on the day of judgment. Conversely, the material gain acquired through deceit is stripped of all barakah. Imagine a scenario. 2 merchants start their day after Fajr. One prays, then immediately cheats on his first sale, earning an extra $100. The other prays, ensures his scale is perfectly accurate, and makes an honest $100. Though the immediate gain may look similar, the dishonest merchant's $100 will be a source of anxiety, quick dissipation, and future loss, while the honest merchant's $100 will be blessed, multiplying its benefit and providing peace of mind. By renewing the niyyah for integrity immediately after Fajr, you are ensuring that the entire stream of your income is clean, pure, and blessed. Finally, the 9th action is to engage in a short, focused study of beneficial knowledge, ilm nafi, relevant to your life and faith. This is the intellectual fuel for the day. Barakah requires wisdom, and wisdom requires knowledge. This does not mean opening a textbook immediately, but rather spending 10 or 15 minutes reading a short passage of tafsir, or a section of a book on financial ethics, or a reminder about the purpose of life. This ensures that the spiritual high of Fajr is translated into intellectual clarity and moral direction. By grounding your mind in beneficial knowledge, you prevent the spiritual erosion that comes from mindless consumption of media or the distractions of the world. You are actively cultivating the mind that will make wise decisions throughout the day. Decisions that maximize your barakah and minimize your regret. This 9-point system, the 3 spiritual anchors, the 3 social ethical commitments, and the 3 practical applications, forms a comprehensive, divinely sanctioned blueprint for a life overflowing with sustained provision and profound peace. Now, having established this sacred routine, let us lift our hands in supplication. For the culmination of all these efforts is the sincere turning to the Almighty, the ultimate source of all wealth and all peace. Let us conclude this gathering, this sohbet, by pouring out our hearts, asking Allah not just for the manifestation of material blessings, but for the unwavering inner tranquility that makes abundance truly meaningful. O Allah, O Ar-Razak, O Al-Wahhab, O Al-Ghani, the self-sufficient, we stand before you at the dawn of this new day, a day you have promised to bless for those who turn to you. We acknowledge, O Lord, that all efforts are futile without your divine assistance, and all wealth is a burden without your barakah. We have sought your forgiveness, O Al-Ghafur, for the sins that block our provision, for the neglect of your commands, and for the moments we doubted your absolute power to sustain us. Accept our Istighfar, and wash away the spiritual dust that has accumulated on our hearts, purifying the vessel that is meant to receive your gifts. O Allah, we have sat in your remembrance, declaring your oneness and your majesty. We have recited your powerful verses, seeking refuge in your protection from all forms of evil, poverty, and anxiety. We affirm, O Lord, that your throne encompasses the heavens and the earth, and the preservation of our small, fleeting provisions is but a minuscule matter for your infinite power. Grant us, therefore, the conviction that you are the sole provider, sufficient for all our needs. O Lord, we have committed to Sadaqah, placing our trust in your promise of compensation. Accept this small offering, O Al-Karim, the generous, and multiply its effect 1,000-fold, not just in our finances, but in the health of our families, the clarity of our minds, and the purity of our intentions. Replace what we have given with what is better, purer, and more enduring. Do not let the whisper of destitution paralyze our hands or tighten our hearts. O Malik al-Mulk, owner of all sovereignty, we raise our specific requests for rizq now. Grant us provision that is abundant, lawful, halal, and blessed. Open doors of opportunity that we could never have foreseen. Guide us to transactions that are profitable and ethically sound. Protect us from dependence on others, and make us a source of benefit and generosity for our communities. Do not test us with poverty that leads to disbelief, nor with wealth that leads to arrogance and heedlessness. O Allah, bless our gudu, our early movement. Place Barakah in the first hours of our work, so that a small effort yields a great result. Remove procrastination and lethargy from our bodies and minds. Grant us the energy to pursue our livelihoods with diligence and excellence, making our earning an act of sincere devotion to you. O Lord of the worlds, strengthen our ties of kinship. Forgive us for any negligence towards our parents, our spouses, and our children. Make our homes sanctuaries of peace, love, and barakah. Expand our provision and extend our lives in goodness and obedience because of our commitment to Salat ar-Rahim. O Al-Haq, the truth, help us to maintain absolute integrity in every word and every deed today. Protect us from cheating, lying, or exploiting others. Make us among the honest merchants who are gathered with the prophets. Let the foundation of our success be based on taqwa, God consciousness. For you have promised that whoever fears you, you will make for him a way out and provide for him from sources he could never imagine. O Allah, grant us beneficial knowledge, wisdom to distinguish right from wrong, and firmness in our faith. Make us among those who start their day with you, continue their day for you, and end their day in gratitude to you. Accept this routine, O Lord, as a humble offering from your weak servants. Grant us the persistence to maintain these 9 actions daily, and reward us with the profound peace of a soul content with your decree, and the material abundance that allows us to serve your creation better. Ameen. Thank you for spending these sacred moments with us. May your home be filled with light, and your hands with the blessings of the most generous. If this reflection brought you peace, please like and share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Until next time, keep your heart tethered to the divine.